Our speaker again is Reverend Stephanie St. Amand. She's in far out reaches of Canada, and I hope she's not as angry at us as the rest of the people in Canada seem to be. Um, I want you to know, Steph, that while we were abroad, I wore a baseball cap that had a Canadian red maple leaf on it so I could show that I was Canadian sympathetic. Anyway, Steph is here today and she's going to talk to us about crack the shell, shine the light, living authentically from the inside out. She's a spiritual teacher, international speaker, content creator, and author. She's a co-founding spiritual director of One Love Awakening, which is an online community devoting to bridging hearts, awakening minds, and transforming lives. Through that One Love Awakening, they provide spiritual and faith-based services and programs that support people on the path to becoming more productive and fulfilled in their personal lives, their communities, and the world. Steph, it's all yours. Take it away.
Awesome. Good morning. I hope when you were wearing a Canadian hat, you were acting like a Canadian.
I was saying, hey, boot.
So what a beautiful opportunity. I love coming in and speaking with you all and being a part of this glorious opportunity. I love what you guys do here. You have different speakers all the time. And I'm always like, oh my gosh, what do I need to say to this community that gets so much from so many people? And I went onto the YouTube channel. I was like, oh my gosh, you just had Dr. Jane Simmons here, and she's one of my favorite people. So so it's so great to have that experience that you get so much opportunity from so many different speakers, and that's just perfect for a life that is fulfilled and a life that is on the right track, right? If we shut down to other voices and to other ways of being and other experiences and other perceptions, we are closing ourselves off from the divine. So today I did call today the crack the shell, shine your light, and talking about vulnerability, authenticity, and using the creative power of your mind and your word to craft a fulfilling, amazing life. And the journey is not about breaking open to fall apart. The journey of this beautiful life is for letting our light shine. All of those cracks that we get on the road as we travel and travel and travel and take different paths, and the sun is shining on us. If we aren't willing to be cracked open, we are missing out on so much of our life experience. So authenticity, vulnerability, authenticity, it's really about an access point to grace. Vulnerability is a spiritual strength. So today I open my heart. I trust the light within me. I am safe to be real, to be seen, and to shine my light. That is this beautiful affirmation to express vulnerability, to accept it into our lives. Brene Brown, she said, vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. And I know in my personal experience, vulnerability was always something very hard to achieve. I've come through, and I'm sure most of you have heard this, some of my story already, but 20 years of chronic anxiety and severe depression. Anxiety is living in the future. You're always in the future. You're always worried about tomorrow. You're always worried about other people's thoughts, other people's feelings, other people's experiences of you. And so we're creating those stories for our own minds and in our own lives on behalf of other people. So I lived a lot of my life just being in the experience of what I believed other people wanted me to be, other people wanted me to have in my life, keeping up with the Joneses kind of experience. And finding vulnerability to experience something different from myself, allowing this beautiful opportunity to share myself with other people. That's huge. That takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of bravery to be vulnerable in today's society. I mean, bless you, Susan. Bless you. You said, I hope she doesn't isn't as angry as other Canadians. Like that's the belief. Most of my friends are American, and because I live in an online world, I live in this experience of having online community. My board is from all over the place: California, Chicago. Like there's these so there's the story that we all buy into, but there's the truth of what is really happening here. And what I know about Canada and the United States is that we are cousins, that we were our family, and that we will always figure our stuff out. There's a history of evidence to demonstrate we work our stuff out. And no matter the macro and the micro, there is stuff going on. There's crazy stuff happening in this world right now. And we can shut ourselves off to it. We can bury our heads in the sand. We can do all of those things, or we can trust that spirit is whole, perfect, and complete, and so are we. And to maybe pop up from the sand and be vulnerable, be in this place of uncomfortability, to have the conversations, to have the openness and the willingness to share our story, and to be seen and to be known and to be heard. So Brené Brown, she said, owning our story and loving ourselves through that process is the bravest thing we'll ever do. The bravest thing we'll ever do. And owning who we are brings us to that place of authenticity. So recognizing that there is a vulnerability, there's a place within me that is soft, that is malleable, that is untouched by anything outside of the divine. Taking that into our authenticity and recognizing authenticity and vulnerability, these are our divine assignments. It's why we're here. It's why we're experiencing and expressing a unique and unrepeatable expression, because the divine wants to know itself as much as possible. And so our assignment as divinity, to be authentic, to be real, to be raw, to be who we are called to be, that's our birthright. To shine as you are, to shine exactly as you are. So vulnerability, cracking that shell, letting the light out. Authenticity is shining that light. I think that breaking open the shell, I don't know if I've shared the story with how Wake Up Say Thank You started. Wake Up Say Thank You is an online spiritual practice that I have been leading for almost 8 years now, live streamed, and that started because there was something inside of me that wanted to pray with people in a very loud way live, and make normalizing prayer. And I knew there's something inside of me that spirit wanted from me, and I had built this wall of fear about being seen, being known, being able to express spirit as spirit. And I had a lot of fear around doing that, just press the live button, just press that live button and do this work that spirit will have me do. And so I woke up one morning and I thought, today, I literally had this conversation out loud, and I said, fear, we're breaking up. I'm breaking up with you. This relationship is not working for me. I have things to do, and you're holding me back. So I'm kicking you to the curb. You don't have space in my life anymore. And I went and I did my very first live stream. And it's been life transformative. It was like 45 seconds. I did it for 45 seconds. And 8 years later, I'm still doing it. So when we push past fear, when we push past those expressions of the stories we've been telling ourselves of not enough, I can't do that, what do I have to say? All of that stuff, being awake for who you are, witnessing your life as it unfolds, as the presence becomes aware of itself. That's your life. Being witness to your experience, your growth, your evolution, looking at yourself from 20 years and going, whoa, look how far I've come. You are 100% success rate on the days that you have completed. 100% success rate. Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to break open and experience life. What life will have you see, what life will have you know, what life will have you be. It's all already within you. Eric Butterworth, he wrote in Practical Metaphysics, in the beginning, at the heart and root of your life, the whole process of the infinite activity is present as you. The important thing is to take some time, especially at the beginning of the day, and as many times during the day as you want, to come back to it and remember to make a practice. Make a practice of starting all things at the beginning, not in a point of time, but as the foundation, the realization. So that book is never far from me. there's there's wisdom in all of these beautiful opportunities, and we get to accept our inheritance. We get to accept at the beginning of every day the life that is unfolding before us. We have an entire day to shift, to change, to grow, to evolve, to find out something new about ourselves. And breaking the shell, the light of truth within you didn't come to this world to hide. I think Leonard Cohen had in one of his songs that the cracks are where the light comes through, right? And so when we crack ourselves open, when we try new things, when we show up ready for vulnerability, we are cracking open something magnificent about ourselves. How the shell must crack for the sprout to grow. Did you know that a bird, a little baby bird, if it doesn't crack its own shell and emerge from its egg itself, it will not have the strength to fly. It has to do the work itself. And that's the same for us as human beings, our beautiful natural imprint. The nature is within us. So we have to crack our own shell so that we are strong enough to get through whatever it is we're getting through. We crack open our own shell so that our wings are strong enough to fly, because everything that we are to do in this life has already been perfectly implanted within us, just like the bird, just like the wild turkeys, just like ants. We all have something within us that pulls us towards what is natural for us to be. So what is natural in your life? Getting to know yourself and finding those things out about yourself is one of the most magnificent ways to heal and to operate on behalf of humanity. What we do for ourselves, we do for everyone, because we live in the universe of oneness, right? This is the center for universal oneness. It's so right here present with you every single week, that the center of universal oneness is you. You are that center point. You are the center of the universe, wherever you are and whatever it is you're doing. Ernest Holmes, he wrote in The Science of Mind, there is a power for good in the universe greater than we are, and we can use it. When we use it authentically, we are showing God, we are listening to its presence within us. When we show up as we are, it is this powerful expression of divinity experiencing itself. Everything that you are is divine. It is holy. It is sacred. And so that power for good in the universe, it's always on. The volume is up to us. But how that power is present is impersonal and on for each and every one of us all of the time. It knows when we are truly being authentic. It already only knows through us. It is our essence, our vibration. We cannot lie to our own soul because there is only one soul. And it is impersonal in our thoughts, our actions. It only knows yes. It only knows yes. And so being authentic, showing up as who you really are, you are showing the world that same expression that you are the gift you are giving the world. You are giving everyone permission around you to shine their light when you are shining your light. When you are shining your authentic self, you are demonstrating the word so that other people can find themselves, find the power within them. They see you living your best life and they say, how do I do that? And you say, you know what? I've got a great community that teaches this stuff. Why don't you come on Sunday? Here's a link. We have that power to change other people's lives simply by demonstrating who we are. Simply by demonstrating who we are. And so the struggle becomes knowing who we are and thinking we're supposed to be something else, or thinking we're supposed to be something else. And the truth of who we are is right there at the tip of our tongue, at the edge of our thinking. There is something powerful shifting in us every time we have an elevated thought. We can embrace our divine uniqueness. Spirit made no duplicates. That's on purpose. That's on purpose. Your authenticity is God's creativity in bloom and in blossom. And whatever that is that it looks like, sometimes it looks messy and sticky and rough. And when we come through all of that, we have so much more to be celebratory of, to empower ourselves and to embolden, to become audacious in our aware presence, to know who we are so boldly. I think a lot about boundaries. Boundaries have that, knowing our boundaries, knowing our lines, knowing where you're not going to cross, where I'm not going to cross. That is a powerful place to show up. And when all of this is about practice. Because I say, oh, it's so easy. It's so simple. We just shine like a diamond. And every day is practice. I don't want to mislead anyone that I have yet to meet someone who says, I'm so awake and it was easy. I've never met that person. I have met people on this beautiful journey of cracking open and spilling out. And in that spilling out comes the organization of thoughts, the practice. The practice has to happen, and it's a daily experience. I have heard stories, even people like Eckhart Tolle. He sat on a bench, depressed and alone, and then he woke up. Right? It's work and it's practice, and we don't have to call that work hard. We can call that work joyful. We can call that work purposeful. My spouse, Reverend Tammy St. Amand, the other couple of weeks ago, I was going through something and I'm like, oh, like if I add more to my plate, it's just hard work. It seems like hard work. And she said, it's only hard if you don't want to do it. So do we want to wake up? Do we want to be joyful? Do we want to have spirit in us, as us, with us, through us, in our aware presence? Then if we want to do that, It's practice. We simply just make time for the practice. Like Eric says, in the beginning of your day, throughout the day, always coming back, always coming back. That's your practice. And so we use the power of our mind to create. It's this infinite consciousness of oneness is always present. It is always doing its thing. How we engage, how we operate, how we function. There's universal laws and principles that we can use that have been demonstrated, as easily demonstrated as electricity and gravity. How we use the power of our word and the creative imprint of our minds to become the whole expression of who we are already. We turn to our truth. When you think from truth, you live in freedom. When you think from truth, you live in freedom. Thich Nhat Hanh, he said, when we are mindful, deeply in touch with the present moment, our understanding of what is going on deepens, and we begin to be filled with acceptance, joy, peace, and love. So being mindful, being present for this moment, right? Anxiety and fear is based on future experiences and stories that we have created in our own mind. Because the story that's happening physically right now, outwardly on social media and the internet, most of us wouldn't know any of what's happening in the world right now if we don't turn on all of our little devices. I have 4 devices sitting around me right now. And so we're paying attention to these things. And when we pay attention to these things, they grow, they expand. What we resist persists. And what we find makes us angry, that's this energy. It comes into our physical body. In the 4 Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz is talking about our word can create poison in our environment, in our lives. And if we don't want to be looking at all of this stuff, there's apps for digital wellness. Turn that stuff off. We don't need to be focusing on the problem when we are the solution. We are the solution by living every day, our authentic self, being vulnerable, being brave, showing up as we are called to show up, being invited to grow, being invited to expand, being invited to evolve. These are the beautiful aspects of a growing life, a life that is filled to the brim, pressed down and overflowing with possibilities. So what we know in truth principles is that if we change our thinking, we can change our life. So if we are focusing on all the stuff we don't want in our lives and ask ourselves, why is all the stuff I don't want around? And this is always happening to me. And I'm sitting here waiting for this shoe to drop. And then a whole shoe store falls. Like, I am powerful. I'm so powerful. I can create that if I want to create that. I have given myself hives by telling the word, speaking the word without integrity. I've given myself things, and I have healed myself of those things using the same power, the same presence, the same tools. So using the power of mind to create a fulfilling life. My thoughts are seeds of creation. I plant peace, joy, and abundance. I can reflect. I get asked very often because I'm talking about 20 years of anxiety, 20 years from 13 to 33. I suffered greatly from chronic anxiety disorder. And so people are often asking, like, how did you end that? How did you stop that? And they want an instant thing, like just you did one thing, one prayer, and it was done. And it's not. It's work, it's practice. It's Michelangelo knowing that David was already there and chipped away. He chipped away and revealed to himself what he was already promised by the divine mind that gave him that inspiration. And so it's the same thing. It's this beautiful opportunity to return to the present moment as much as possible throughout the day. What is my possibility right here, right now? And if it's just turning within for 30 seconds, taking a breath and saying, the outwardly is not truth, the inwardly is truth. And I can shift and change right here and right now like this if I choose it, if I tell a new story, if I create something new within me. And so Ernest Holmes, he said, in thoughts are things, everything in the universe is a unique, individualized expression of the one thing, which is the cause of all things. So that creative expression is in each and every one of us. We get to create our life. We get to create the life that we are fulfilling, that is ours to do. And in that beautiful expression of bravery and courageousness and audacity and boldness, that is all that's present all of the time. It's available to us right where we are. And it is that divine assignment. Authenticity is our birthright. Vulnerability is our access point to grace and goodness. And our mind is the paintbrush that we get to use to design and create a masterpiece that is already within us. We don't need to judge what's coming. We don't need to label or limit anything that's before us, because if it is before us, it is for us. So we get to design a life that is worth living right now. So let's do some meditation on that. Does that sound good? So taking into this moment, this full breath. And I let go. I let go of absolutely every preceding moment that came before this one. I accept this moment exactly as it is. I open my mind and my heart and my listening self to experience and express and to receive a greater truth for myself, a greater truth that has already been exploring who I am, what is mine to do, how am I showing up. I accept this beautiful moment right where I am, and I allow the remembering to love only, to be present for this loving presence that is circulating through this body right now, circulating through every cell, every atom, all my little quirks. This beautiful expression of loving presence moving through my organs, my tissue, my bone marrow. I bring forth this beautiful awareness to my mind and the mind that is behind my mind. I allow spirit in, for spirit is already within me. There is nothing and no thing separate, no two things. I am spirit breathing right now. And spirit breathes me in effortlessly with absolute grace. And so I trust and know right here and right now, there is only one power, one presence, one divine infinite intelligence that has woven itself in and through and as absolutely everything There's no space, no place, no moment, no breath. The divine is not emanating its fullest expression and activating upon its own nature of being. And I am that. I am its reflection, its animation, its articulation. And I circulate its presence within all of my thoughts and all of my thinking. I circulate its grace and its glory in all of my activity and all of my actions. I trust and know that God is good and it is goodness through me. And so I operate with absolute awareness that I know, and I know that I know exactly who I am. I have all the bravery and courageousness required, and it shows up within me in ways that I can feel and touch and know and sense. I have all this powerful presence of vulnerability to express who Spirit is through me. Vulnerability is my birthright. It is the ability to experience and express the nature of divinity through me. I give witness to its glory. I trust and know this powerful presence that is within me is operating and functioning perfectly as a divine blueprint has impressed itself around me and within me. And I trust and know my authenticity is received in this world. For the world is divine source being sourced. And so I trust my authentic self. I allow my authentic needs, wants, and desires to make themselves known in my mind, in my life, with full awareness and operating with truth, operating with inspiration and wisdom and creativity. I am authentic in all that I do. And I use this powerful presence of mind right now. It is using me. I am the inlet and the outlet of divine grace, divine power. And so I know that my superpowers are vulnerability and authenticity. I know that my superpower is being who I am. I am my truest self. And every day I wake up to the moreness of who I am and who and what is to become of me. I trust my path is made clear and easy. I trust that this is a loving universe and a loving world. And I demonstrate this love with absolute clarity and circulating it freely without reservations. With this powerful love in my life, with this infinite awareness of oneness in all that I do, I experience this day and this life fully fired up and free to experience all that is me. Knowing that I am that which I am, I simply move to a place of absolute gratitude. I am so grateful for this life, for this powerful presence, for my divine inheritance, and for the awareness I have about it. I give such great thanks, and I simply let it be so, knowing it is already perfect, whole, and complete exactly as it is. I simply let it be, and I need do nothing more but simply say, and so it is. And so it is.
Thank you, Steph. It was
Thank you.
lovely and so centering and calming.
Thank
It's a
you.
lovely experience. I appreciate you.